With that, we bring in Gene Sperling, senior advisor to President Biden. Gene, welcome. Good to have you here. You know, in light of all of this, comments from FedEx about a global recession coming, and we're seeing those kind of comments from other companies that they may have to cut payrolls, cut jobs over the next several months because the economy, they don't see it getting better anytime soon. So I think a lot of people felt that Inflation Reduction Act celebration and also this talk from the White House about how, you know, green vehicles, electric vehicles is going to turn this thing around, it is just landing on, it kind of reflects a tin ear at the White House about what's really going on, doesn't it?
No, I don't agree with you at all. It won't surprise you. But look, I mean, I do want to be clear, and this is my view anytime I talk about the economy. We should, of course, have a balanced view. We should all take a balanced view. This has been a tough few years for the U.S. and the global economy. We've been through COVID. We've been through the variants. We've been through global inflation. We've been through the energy impacts of this war in Ukraine. So there is no question there has been uncertainty. There has been in this economy, and there have been both strong elements like job growth, like lower unemployment, and there have been tough things like the higher food prices that families are still face. The celebration at the White House was not about that we had solved inflation. Of course not. Yes, you've had 2 months where it's been flat. Yes, it's headline inflation's come down. Yes, the PPI, the producer price index, came down again. But it is still way too high. That said, it does not mean that we don't also recognize historic positives that are happening legislatively for this country that are going to affect our ability to have strong jobs made in America, have a stronger supply chain, lower prices going forward. And that Inflation Reduction Act was celebrating for the first time controlling prescription drug prices, bringing down insulin prices, lowering the cost of energy for families, having 14 million being able to get health care premiums at $800 cheaper.
Here's the problem.
So that was the focus. It was on those legislative items. Nobody at the White House, including the president, ever claimed that this was a celebration of mission accomplished on inflation. We know every day that we've got to do everything we can to bring down prices for families.
Can I ask a question, Gene? Got it. So when do you anticipate? Can you give me a timeline? Because obviously, let's put up where inflation's gone since the beginning of the Biden administration. This is a huge problem. And you have Larry Summers saying, you know, look, when you eat too much, you're going to be uncomfortable for a really long time. And he has said repeatedly that way too much stimulus went into this market. That's a very difficult chart that we're looking at here. So give us a sense if all of this, if this Inflation Reduction Act is going to eventually work, you're saying, when? What is the timeline, you know, as you look at this as an economist?
Well, the Inflation Reduction Act was a series of policies which I've discussed, and some of them will hit in the next few months, like capping the cost of insulin at $35, like not allowing prescription drugs to be reimbursed for Medicare at above inflation. All of those things will happen shortly. But obviously, the overall issue on inflation has to do with much larger forces. Now, inflation has come down from 9.1 to 8.5 to 8.3, but that's not good enough for anybody. It is still too high. And I think markets were disappointed, and we were disappointed in some of the core inflation numbers. But I feel more optimistic that there are some positive signs. Inventories, tend to be higher now. This is going to, we believe, lead to more discounting, lower prices. You had a huge influx in people into the labor market. One of the challenges is that we are seeing a cooling in housing prices in the housing market, but it does happen to be that can take a little bit of time to show up. That can take a little longer to show up officially in the inflation numbers. So I do think we are moving in the right direction, but I also think that it's not.
How long are you asking the American people to be patient for? Because they've seen all of these things that are supposed to make, and everything you're describing is going to take time. I need a quick answer here because I need one more thing. But when do you expect people to feel some genuine relief from that chart that we just showed? 5 months, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years?
let me just say, people have felt relief at the gas pump already. It's down over $1.30 a gallon. You're under $3.70 an average. The typical gas station is now charging about $3.39. So I think people are seeing some relief there. I think where they're not seeing the relief we'd like to is particularly in food prices. And we think we're moving in the right direction, but we understand everyone wants to move quicker. Everyone wants to bring prices down. And as you know, our goal is to do that in a way that doesn't give up these historic job gains, the greatest job growth in our history, 3.7% unemployment. So the goal is to transition to those lower prices without giving the gains in the labor market.
And so they might have a job, but they are dealing with an inflation rate that outstrips their wages. So I want to ask you one more question here about immigration. When you look at what's going on out there, you look at the burden on these border states and the reason that they have made some of these decisions to, people have been, by the way, have been flown around on planes to states all over the place for the past 2 years. This is nothing new. But, for the border states, what are you doing for them to help ease the burden of these increased costs? You heard from some of our prior guests talk about the pressure on the Border Patrol. What is happening to help Texas deal with this situation? What are you doing to help them?
Well, first of all, this is still a period where you've had a historic American Rescue Plan that has helped state coffers as much as probably any particular policy, both the amounts of funds and the fact that it's led to greater growth and surge revenue. And finally, let's be honest, this is a problem that has been going on for a long time, the issue of immigration. And the best thing to do is, as we have worked to have a bipartisan bipartisan infrastructure bill, as we've worked for a historic bipartisan semiconductor bill, it's time for people to start working again, returning to the table for a bipartisan comprehensive immigration reform bill. And, that's
but
something
in the meantime,
this president
sir,
remains, of course, open to.
In the meantime, shouldn't Massachusetts bear the same burden as Texas? Shouldn't that burden be spread? Shouldn't Massachusetts do their fair share?
If you want me to try to validate what I think are seem very much like political stunts, using real people's lives, putting people on planes.
How come it's okay if they go to Texas and upstate New York, but not Martha's Vineyard?
I'm not going to validate that. Look,
you're not going to validate it? I'm just asking you, shouldn't all the states bear the burden of the border policy from the White House?
As I said, I think the thing we need to do is we have given tremendous support to states in a way that is almost unprecedented, even though many of them and many of those governors still claim that they were against the American Rescue Plan, and yet they benefit from it every day. They've had surging revenues because of the American Rescue Plan.
Well, they're dealing with 2 million people who've crossed the border, and they got a lot on their hands.
And they should want to work. They should want to work in a serious way to deal with our immigration challenges in this country. That's what this administration is open to. And I'm not going to, try to in any way dignify
you don't agree with
the type of
sharing
stunts
the burden
that I think have been
across the
pulled
states.
that I do not think are treating people with dignity. So you and I just disagree on that.
No, I don't agree or disagree. I'm just asking if all the states should share a burden of what's going on. So I thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, Gene.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.